conversation because it is the 1st of June. It is the first day of winter. It is a conversation around how to make the most of challenging times. Now, for some, let's call it very precious people like myself, winter is by far the least favourite season of the year. There is a magic to winter, don't get me wrong, an absolute magic to winter. But if I had to lose one, I think I would lose winter. I just love the warmer weather. What can I say? But for those of you particularly that are in lockdown at the moment in Victoria, or any of you that are going through a difficult time, a winter of your life, so to speak. There are always multiple seasons in life and not just the temperature seasons. Today I want to talk about how to actually thrive in those times, come out of them from an incredibly more empowered, resilient time, but also recognize that there is a real magic in tough times. And please don't look at me and go, Marcus, how can you say this living your cushy life? Because I do. I live a very cushy, beautiful life. And so I am going to pass on the baton to people that haven't lived the cushy life. And if you know me, you know me well, I always like to refer to war survivors, people that have lived a whole lot differently. And they would say there is nothing. This COVID time is nothing on wartime. And let's not even attempt to compare the pair. Pardon me. Sorry, Damien Christoph, for the slurp of the tea. So I'm just going to quote. This is page 224 of the book. For those of you who've got it, you've got a nicer copy than I do right here. This is the mock copy. Page 224, under the subheading of transforming pessimism and pain into learned or tragic optimism. Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. If you really want to get stuck into the headspace of someone that's made the best of a situation, read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. What matters is to make the best of any given situation, Frankl writes. A tragic optimism, that is an optimism in the face of tragedy and in view of the human potential, which at its best always allows for. This is really important because this can get a bit heady, but I want you to think about this. Turning suffering into a human achievement and accomplishment. So think about that. If you are going through a tough time at the moment, let's say you are suffering at the moment, how can you turn that suffering into a real significant achievement and an accomplishment? I endured this tough time. Again, if you're in Victoria at the moment and you're really struggling with lockdown, how good would it be to endure and come out of this tough time even better? Number 2, deriving from guilt the opportunity to change oneself for the better. So there's a conversation amongst a lot of war survivors, particularly Holocaust survivors, that they felt guilty for surviving when so many of their friends and family did not survive. They really carried this shame and guilt. Like, why did I survive? And my mum died, or my sister died, or my children died. I mean, absolutely, you can understand that. So if that opportunity, as Frankl calls it, to change oneself, that opportunity to live, presents you with the opportunity to change yourself for the better. So if you are actually alive right now, you do have an opportunity to change oneself for the better. And then 3, deriving from life's transitoriness an incentive to take responsible action. And if we break down the vocabulary of that, recognize that life ends and it begins and it ends, and we all have a terminal illness called death, or really actually birth. And recognizing that what I call this spiritual urgency, this fact that there is a use-by date on our life. We just don't know when it is. How does that spur us forward to make a really good time of it? Again, particularly if it's in winter. So I'm quite a practical guy. That's coming from Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. If you want to go straight to it and you have the book, it's page 224. And I then, suggest to anyone that really wants to go, all right, well, how do I do this today? Break your life down into the 8 areas of your exceptional life blueprint: your life purpose and career, your movement, your social life, your nutrition, your family, your growth, your wealth, your spirit, soul, and faith. Break it down. And I would suggest if you don't actually have goals, or if you don't have a script for the rest of your year, then write a script for winter in each of those 8 areas of life. So if there's 8 scenes in the movie called Your Exceptional Winter, what happens in the scene called Your Career or Your Life Purpose? You just spoke to a client the other day, and she has, after many years, left her job and started a new job in a job, and it's a great job. It's fabulous. It took some time for her to leave the other job to go to something that she loves, but gee whiz, she has written a script for an exceptional winter when it comes to career. I spoke to another client yesterday who is falling in love, and that opportunity happened when this person was doing movement that they loved, and they met someone else that did this type of movement that they loved. Isn't that a great script for an exceptional winter when it comes to movement? As I say, movement done in social activities, there's a magic to it, folks. Team sports, socializing, midweek tennis, yoga in a studio, which you can't do in Melbourne at the moment, going for walks with friends. I'm sure you can do that. Can you do that in Melbourne at the moment, or Victoria? Can you go for a walk with a friend for 2 hours? Movement as a way to socialize, magnificent. May even generate some love. What is on your movie or your scene for exceptional social life in winter? What are you going to do? Is it consolidating some friendships, spending some more quality time? I just love a good coffee with a friend, particularly on a weekend when I'm not working. Early morning coffee. I'm quite partial to a 6 a.m. coffee. Not easy to find. A lot of people that like a 6 a.m. coffee, I'll tell you that much. But that's when the kids are asleep. It's a great time. Good start to the day. So what's on the script for your exceptional social life this winter? If you're all businessy, this could be a quarterly goal, okay? All seasons are quarterly goals. Then we look at your nutrition. Now, often the scene is what I call a continuity goal. It's actually just the discipline of doing more of the same. Someone on here loves winter. Who's that? Is it Pete Lennon? Is it Alistair Mills? I'm not actually getting a lot of good insights on this today. There's people watching, and I don't know who and where and when and why and where from. But if you're watching, tell us who you are, where you're from. That would be great, because I'm not able to see it all this morning. Your exceptional nutrition in winter might be doing more of the same. In family, again, it could be like crafting some really good quality time. I'm a big believer, like, you've got to craft quality time in family, particularly if you're at the phase of life where I'm in, where it can really get quite admin-y. Sarah often uses the term quite groundhoggy. If it's feeling a bit groundhoggy, then you've got to create some quality time, some special occasions. We're putting the concrete slab. I'm not putting the concrete slab down on our block tomorrow, but the builders are. We're going to go and take breakfast there in the morning because we've got some young boys who would absolutely love to see some machinery and some concrete being poured. I don't even know how it works, so I'm probably using the wrong term. Tomorrow. So that's just going to jazz it up. It's not going to be the normal midweek breakfast and the rest. Hey, Fiona. Hey, got your book. Good work. So kind. I'm loving people's enthusiasm for the book. I was at the market this morning, a couple of the market stalls. Rob, who has Spice Palace, and Heather, who has tomatoes, Cooper's Shoot tomatoes. They said, "Oh, I want a copy of your book." As an author, I've learned you always have a box of books in the boot with some bookmarks and a pen. Sign them, and away we go. So that's very kind. I'm loving the support, folks. I think I'm almost at 800 copies sold. So thank you for your support, Fiona. I really hope you like it. Yes, as I said, when people say they're excited to read the book, I'm like, but what if you don't like it? Quite possible. Not possible, probable. There are going to be people that don't like the book. That's just the way it is. So what's on the scene? What's on the script for your exceptional family life this winter? And then growth. If it's 12 or 13 weeks in winter, I would say I don't watch a lot of movies, but I know there's going to be 3 or 4 movies over winter, and there's going to be 3 or 4 books. Book a month, movie a month. I like watching football on the weekend. So I'm also at the phase of life where by the time the kids are asleep and it's 8:30 at night, I'm ready for bed. I think I'm getting up quite early at the moment. But what's on the menu for your exceptional growth this winter? Like, make it clear. Don't just, unless you really just want to browse Netflix. I actually ended my Netflix subscription yesterday. I'm just not watching it. But they'll keep my list of 400 movies that are on my list that I'd like to watch at some point. Are you like that as well? What's on the menu for your exceptional growth this winter? And then what are you doing wealth-wise? I'm finding it very tricky at the moment with just book and money comes in with the book, but then a lot of money goes out at the moment on postage, and then I'm trying to work out Okay, how do I actually distribute the profit? How do I measure the profit? Like, depending on what you're doing with your with your money at the moment, how consciously are you earning it, and then how consciously are you saving it, investing it, spending it? I have to remind myself, because I am a spender. I love spending money. I love putting money in the local economy. I love buying local. I just looked at money I spent in the local market this morning. I love supporting locals. But sorry, people have just arrived. Tommy's got a playgroup here today. What do I want to tell you about money? I have to remind myself that I've spent 5 figures, good amounts of money, probably 15, 20, bit over 20 grand in the process of the book, the audio book, printing the book, having the book edited, not to mention marketing the book, graphic design for the book. So I, people go, oh my gosh, you must be so happy you've sold nearly 1,000 books. I'm like, no. Feet firmly on the ground. As a lot of authors tell me, not until you've really sold, say, 10,000 books can you begin to talk about actually profiting financially from the book. Stop the free postage stuff. That's Pete Lane. Yeah, no, I've got to just change it, Pete. I'm going to make postage about $4.95. Postage cost me about between $7 and $8.50, depending on where people live. But funny story for anyone that's business minded, I just kind of said to internationals, yeah, look, can't be that much more doing postage, and let's just say I learnt my lesson yesterday at the post office. But that's good, right? It's a good learning lesson. It will put fire in the belly to change it up and make it more real. And yes, Pete, that's fine, mate. I will, if that is Pete. Give me a bit of business urgency. Free postage will be adjusted. It'd be subsidized, but it won't be free. So important things. These are all the important things, like identify where some of the pain points are. And then spiritually, yesterday I spoke about the difference between doing gratitude and being grateful, between doing meditation and living meditatively, finding out for you in winter, like where you go there and how you go in winter. Really important. I know for me, I'm more inclined, as I'm sure a lot of people are, to spend less time outside in winter. But then this morning I recognized like how nice, crisp, Pete's going to laugh at this because he said it's -6 in Canberra, but morning crisp air is really nice. My beautiful angel wife is about to walk in. Beautiful. Give them a look at you, babe. Now I get to see you. Just give them a little wave. You can't see, hear anyone. They can't even hear anything, but just say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Mwah. Isn't she an angel? Oh, look at that. It's Playgroup Day here at the Pierce family headquarters. So I think it's really important to recognize where you get all of that spiritual juice from your day. Like, is it spending some time in nature? Is it is it gratitude journaling? Is it the art of just going for a walk and just recognizing how all the dots of your life all join together and there's no mistakes? And even though there's tough times and it's frantic or it's busy or it's hectic or whatever it is, then it's so important just to carve that time out, even in cold, dark winter. So these are the things that you want to craft over winter, because then if you don't, then guess what happens? You get sucked into the whirlwind of stinking thinking, of mediocre mass media. I won't say propaganda. I'll just say that the media knows human behavior. Like I was talking to my mum yesterday, like you have to have drama in the media. If anyone's whinging and moaning about the media's coverage of COVID, you have to have drama in cases. Like one case has to be dramatic, as does 10 cases, and as does anything. Like a lack of drama does not sell. You watch a movie when it says drama. You don't watch a movie. There's no movie genre called peaceful. There's no movie genre called happy. There is a movie genre, sub, that maybe is feel good, but with feel good, just like in every single movie, in the plot, there is some feel bad in that plot as well. I don't care whether you're watching Pitch Perfect or Everest or a rom-com of some kind. There is pain in every script. It's just human nature. So don't expect the mediocre mass media to be any different. It is the way that we are wired. They don't sell papers when it says 20 degrees and bright sunshine and picnic weather and pull out the picnic rug. It's not how it works, and we have to be really conscious of how our mind works as well. Most of us are pain-based, so if you haven't got to it yet in the book, literally just go to page XXIX. I wanted the page to be under 300 books, remember? So little trick, I put some Roman numerals at the beginning. XXIX. Now, you don't want these regrets. The regret or the risk of a mediocre career is regret. The risk of a mediocre movement is cognitive decline. The risk of a mediocre social life is depression. The risk of mediocre nutrition is disease. The risk of mediocre family life is bitterness, bitter and twisted. The risk of mediocre growth is boredom. The risk of mediocre wealth is being broke, and the risk of mediocre spirit is being spiritually broken. You don't want regret, cognitive decline, depression, disease, bitter and twisted, boredom, broke, or spiritually broken. You want inspired, you want vitality from your movement, you want connection from your social life, you want energy from your nutrition, you want to feel loved by and from your family and towards your family, you want to feel enthusiasm from your growth, you want to feel financial independence in your wealth, and you want to feel spiritually enlightened. You want that absolute, what do I call it? I call it spiritually fulfilled, where you actually feel the greatness in all areas of life when you see all the dots joining. So, folks, there's the roadmap, the mini roadmap for winter. Again, a lot of it is laid out in the book. If you haven't got the book yet, before I do as Pete Lennon says and take off free delivery, you can go and order your copy of the book over at marcuspearce.com.au. In the meantime, folks, have a terrific Tuesday. Have a wonderful winter wherever you are in the world. If you're in the Northern Rivers, you're in -6 ACT, you're in Sydney, Melbourne, Victoria, Perth, wherever you are, Europe. Hope you're well. Make this winter or summer in Europe sensational. And remember, you write the script. Yes, there is a co-creator, there's a co-writer. And that person, that writer has many names depending on your beliefs, but that doesn't take away the responsibility you have to write the script of your exceptional life. Let's start with winter, folks. Make it awesome. Love and hugs to you all. Have a wonderful day. Take care and